Green Chasers, what's going on? General Moses in the building. Hey, if you're watching on Instagram, make sure when you get a chance, head over to my profile and click the blue Telegram icon in the highlights area. That's to get into my inner circle, the General Moses inner circle, where you give more cool updates on what I'm working on there. And then also, if you're listening on the Dream Chasers platform, wherever you get your podcast, make sure you drop a 5-star review there. That always helps spread the visibility of the show, your home for house music. So today I want to recap an interview that I watched recently with on Mike Thurston's podcast. He was interviewing Mark Knight, the founder of Toolroom Records, which, if you're new to the show, now you know. It's a record label that I'm very fond of. I've had some records signed there. And if you know me, then you know obviously I'm a little bit obsessed with Toolroom. So, but there were some really key takeaways on this interview that Mark shared. I've got 9 in particular, 9 key takeaways from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mark Knight, about building a career as a producer, as a DJ, as a husband, as a father, all kinds of good stuff. So, in no particular order, these are the 9 things that Mark shared with Mike that really hit home for me, and I hope they do for you as well. So number one, I mean, his career in music has always been a general ascension. Um, Starting from square one, moving to where he's at right now, looking back on his career, he never really feels like there was a point where he just catapulted to that next level. It's always been gradual, and I think that's really important to make note of. And it also leads me into my second takeaway from the interview, which is Mark said, having a big hit is a massive burden to carry, as you can imagine. That's why there is such thing as a phrase as a one hit wonder, is because following up on that success become as much of a joyous moment it can be quite burdensome. So just something to make note of. And I'm getting an incoming phone call. One moment. If you're watching this on Instagram, we don't really have a way at the moment to edit it. So here you go. Just get the raw footage. If you're listening on the podcast, you're not even going to hear this part. Thank you, Catherine. Um, Number 3, do it all from the heart and for the love of it. Once you've started playing music you don't love, you've lost. And it sounds like Mark's met plenty of people who went that direction with their career. And sure, they've made loads and loads and loads of more money, but it's kind of like, for all of that for what? Right? You could still do very, very well for yourself, very well enough where money's never even an issue, by sticking to what you love. And man, I mean, just from hearing him talk multiple times, it's always the biggest takeaway. Like, clearly this is all for the love, and it's just one of the most rewarding reminders we can all have. Right? Do it from the heart, do it for the love of it. Don't do it just because you think it's the right thing to do to get something, to make more money, whatever. Fill in the blanks. Right? Now, on that note, number 4 biggest takeaway is records that do stay true to who you are and become likable to the mainstream audience without trying. Those are the ones that will give you massive growth. And he referenced Man with the Red Face, really is one of the biggest records that he's produced that did make it into the mainstream, but was still very, very, very true to who he is. And if you don't know that one, Courtney, I'll say get it in the show notes. Make sure we link to that one. It is a Mark Knight classic. I'm happy to say that's actually not the one. Everyone kind of has like their Tool Room or Mark Knight story on how they got into the brand. That one wasn't mine. Mine was Your Love, which kind of makes me feel a little bit special. But obviously, I know a lot of people like that one too. And Man with the Red Face is just a banger. So, anyways, Mark stayed true to who he was, and by doing that, it also happened to go mainstream. Boom, got a winner. Um, as a creator, as an artist, as anyone really in this space, you have to remember, and this is key takeaway number 5: inspiration for ideas, it never switches off. And we all get this inspiration at different points throughout the day. You can be inspired by listening to other artists, seeing other artists live, which is something Mark said he wishes he could do more of, which I found that very interesting. um the inspiration, it only switches off if you decide that it switches off, right? Like, it truly never turns off. And once I heard him say that, I've found myself literally throughout the day now always looking for ways to get inspired for writing music. So that was just a good reminder. That was number 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. All right. Number 6. Ooh, and this one, I know my wife's gonna like this one. because I've been telling her how and who knows, we might still do it, but I've been telling her how I want to relocate to London, United Kingdom, at least for a little bit, just for networking purposes, have some fun, get out there, grow the brand. But Mark's like, man, and he said this multiple times, and he didn't quite say it directly like this, but you know what? I did use a quote here. He said, the enthusiasm in America is off the chart. The enthusiasm in America is off the chart. And I'm coming to you from as an American living in Canada, but coming to you from North America, that was super reassuring to hear, because I think there's always this thing in our minds of like the grass is always greener on the other side. And Mark's like, hey, there's a stigma. If you can make it in America, you can make it anywhere. And so to know that in a way, as an up and coming artist, I'm kind of already sitting on gold, that's pretty cool. He did say he likes to play in Bulgaria a lot too, which I found that interesting. I have to check out Bulgaria. But he's like, yeah, the house music scene in America reminds him of the United Kingdom in like the 90s. And he's like, to be honest here, and I don't know if he said all of Europe, but he said where they're at, it's become a little bit tainted and tribal and clicky, which to me, I don't, it's like maybe I'm just so naive and young that I don't even see that. But to me, it's just good to hear that America is the place to be for a DJ and producer growing their career. My wife can be happy that I don't want us to move away for too far for too long now. Um, the next takeaway, which is number 7, basically is like, look, if you want to be the DJ that does 18 gigs a month, good on you, but that's not sustainable and that's going to kill you. And the reason why he launched Toolroom was because he knew that at some point he was going to need to find a way out of the rat race that it can become, just playing as many gigs as you can every month. It sounds like in his career, he's had moments where he did do like, the 18 gig a month lifestyle, but it's not sustainable. And it's why a lot of DJs struggle with, mental health issues. So 2 to 3 per month is his sweet spot. And as someone who's coming from a different like professional background into this space, knowing that I could probably get there as well, just the 2 to 3 a month. That's not, to me, that sounds good too. As someone else who has, a family, 2 kids, like I like to do other things as well, which kind of leads to his next point. Man, 2 to 3 gigs a month, making great music consistently. That's a key takeaway. So that was number 7. Number 8 was a direct quote from Mark, which is, winning in life is when you do all the things you love in the right amounts. I'll say that again. And he might have just quoted this from someone else too, but we'll go ahead and call it a Mark Knight quote. Winning in life is when you do all of the things you love in the right amounts. And so there you go. 2 to 3 gigs a month. Sounds good to me. One thing I would like to do is increase my release rate right now. I wish I had a new record coming out every 4 to 6 weeks. We're getting there. I just talked to someone about that on the show recently. But anyways, that is key takeaway number 8. Doing what you love in life in the right amounts. I mean, man, facts. And then number 9, and this again, this is in no particular order. So I feel like he actually said this more towards the middle of the interview. Everything else was kind of chronological. But balancing life with your family is fundamentally number 1. And I can attest to that. There's been so many times where you just know you can do better. And so it's good to see someone like Mark, who clearly is high integrity and very clearly a family guy, which is something that initially intimidated me about getting into this industry, because I don't know, it's because it's centered around nightlife. The assumption is you have to have one or the other, and he's done such a beautiful job portraying how you can do both. And if anything, our culture should be encouraged to see that both are possible. Just balancing family and expectations is number 1, and you see what he's doing also with his sons and soccer, or should I say football, and some other business projects that Mark's working on outside of music. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure we get a link to the interview with him and Mike so everyone can go watch that one. Thank you, Courtney, on our team. But yeah, those are my 9 key takeaways. So just to hammer through them again real quick. Number 1, his career has always been a general ascension. Number 2, having a big hit is a massive burden to carry. Number 3, do it all from the heart and do it for the love of it. Don't do it just because you're trying to get something external. The biggest records, number 4, the biggest records out there are the ones that come from when you stay true to who you are and they borderline into the mainstream. Number 5, the inspiration for ideas never switches off. Number 6, America is the place to be, baby. And if you want to come over here and hang out, let me know. Number 7, 18 gigs a month will kill you. 2 to 3 per month is the sweet spot. Um, I don't know. I might have lost track of my numbers here, but number 8, winning in life is doing all of the things you love in the right amount. And number 9, balancing your family is number 1. Those are my 9 key takeaways from Mark's interview on the Mike Thurston podcast. Make sure you guys go follow them both. Go check out that interview as well. There's a lot that I did not cover here. And yeah, thank you for tuning into Dream Chasers, your home for house music. I'm General Moses. Again, check out everything in the show notes. And remember, in all you think, say, and do, take it to the next level.